Trying to see if I'm recording. Hey everyone, and thanks for joining me. My name's Matt, and today I have some pretty exciting news. I drank a lot of coffee this morning, again on top of being very excited, so apologize if I'm talking very fast. But the reason why I'm so excited is if you saw Stephan's video from yesterday, you saw that I got a shout out in the video, which was awesome. I was not expecting that at all. I was in the middle of dinner. I was, shaving some Parmesan cheese for my spaghetti, and I just hear my name and my picture show up on the screen, and I just kind of dropped everything, and I was like, what? Really lost my cool for a second there. I filmed it, I sent it to my mom. She was confused because she doesn't really know that I do a YouTube channel, but it was super cool to see that up there, and I just really wanted to say thank you so much for that opportunity. It really means a lot to me because I've been working on this channel for quite some time. I don't do this for money or attention or anything like that. I really do it so I can document myself as I go through a real estate journey, as well as give people some information or just kind of share the knowledge that I have when it comes to investing. So thank you so much to Graham for that. That was awesome, and again, it really means a lot to me, but it also means a lot to me that so many of you went from his channel to watch my videos. Some of you even went as far as liking the video, leaving comments, and even subscribing. So that was super awesome, and I really can't express enough how thankful I am for this opportunity. So what I wanted to do here today is just give a brief background about myself and this channel and what you can expect to get out of me from this. Now, I've already talked about this in actually the very first video that I posted onto YouTube, but I'll leave a link down below if you're interested for the longer version of my background. But just kind of a brief story about myself, a little background info, is I'm 25 years old. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I currently work in real estate, but my background is actually in finance. So I went to East Carolina University. I studied finance with a concentration in real estate, but graduated college with a degree, graduated college and immediately had a job in personal finance. I worked in personal finance for about 3 years, a little bit more than 3 years actually, and what I did in personal finance is I assisted people both with the transfer of their assets between institutions as well as was an investment consultant. So talking to people about their accounts, helping them understand why you can or can't withdraw money from the accounts or what the taxable consequences are from doing so, the different investments they have, really just helping people understand the basics of their investments. Throughout those 3 years, I worked with around, give or take, about $500 million in new assets coming into the company. And that was, again, helping people make sure that they put them in the right accounts to avoid any kind of penalties or taxes or anything like that, getting them set up with an advisor if they felt like they needed it, or just helping them get into a basic set of different mutual funds or ETFs for them to get started with investing. And it was really rewarding to be able to help people understand their finances. Some of my favorite conversations were usually an unfortunate situation where somebody might have lost somebody or they might have lost their job, which that wasn't my favorite part at all. But I could always tell when somebody was just completely flustered with where they were currently and having to worry about these finances, all this money that they have and they're not sure what to do with, was just an overwhelming time for them. And I really liked being able to basically take that off their plate and say, let me help where I can, I'll talk you through this entire thing. I'll always make sure, and I would always check with people as we would take the next step forward, that they have a good understanding for what to expect, any issues that can go wrong, what we want to happen. And I really just enjoyed hearing people, helping them through those times, and then just having them say thank you at the end of it. Because I know at the end of the day that I actually did genuinely help somebody through a tough time and gave them an experience that was able for them to not have something else to worry about. As I'm sure many people know, when it comes to money, different institutions, rules, regulations, and when it's all completely foreign, it's just such a daunting task to worry about. And I liked being able to help people just make it easy and have them be informed and just up to date with everything going on. Now, and I'm sorry, I have notes here so I don't go on for too long. Ultimately though, after 3 years of working in finance, I started to get pretty tired of the 9 to 5 routine. Well, actually for me it was 9 to 6. Because it was just a repetitive daily routine of Up at 6, getting ready by 7, out the door by 8, sit in traffic for an hour, sit at a desk for the rest of the day in a call center, sitting in a cube, and then leaving at 6, driving another hour back home, making dinner, watching like a TV show, and then going to bed and doing the same thing. It just really started to wear on me mentally, just because I felt like everything about me just became my job. Even if I was at home and my work never came home with me, I still couldn't help but think about the day, because when you do work in a call center and you take over 20 phone calls a day, you'll have some experiences that just start to wear on you. You get everything from bad internet connection to poor experiences with the other institution to issues from another department. And while helping people was great, there's just a lot that can be thrown on you throughout the day. And I started to look for other options, because just between those two alone was enough for me to say there's got to be something else out there. The other reason why I decided to move away from personal finance is I dealt with a lot of people that were heading into retirement, and they just weren't ready because they didn't save correctly, they didn't have enough money in their accounts, they started too late. Even if they started on time, just given market swings or the investment choices they had weren't enough for them to support going into full retirement. And that was a little nerve-wracking for me, because I didn't want to continue from 22 on to 60 working in a profession and having to worry about retirement. If anything, I wanted to retire early. And I know a lot of people might think, well, you worked in finance, you should make more than enough money to be comfortable. But I really wasn't making a lot of money. Yes, I was making a good amount for a recent college graduate, but for being a top performer 2 of the 3 years that I was there, and this isn't to pat myself on the back, this is just very serious, for being a top performer 2 of the 3 years and bringing in $500 million in assets between those years, I wasn't being paid much from the time that I was 22 to the time that I was 25, or much of a difference. And no matter how hard I tried to move up in the company, there was just always felt like there was just some door that got closed as soon as I started to get close to it. And it was just really tough for me to try my hardest, but not really be going anywhere. And I really felt like I was stuck in the same place, regardless how hard I was trying. And I just started to look at other options out there, which is actually when I came across Bigger Pockets. And Bigger Pockets was so informative for me. It opened up my whole, eyes to how powerful real estate investing actually is. Because yes, it was my concentration in college, but I never actually got to see it in play like Bigger Pockets showed to me. So I started attending every webinar, I became an active member on the forums or on the blogs, and just became a sponge to real estate and really enjoyed the financial freedom it gives you, the ability to get out of that 9-to-5 grind, the potential for cash flow, the potential for equity. There's just so many pros to it, and it was a lot different than investing in stocks or mutual funds or ETFs. Yes, it's a completely different animal, but it's still investing, and it still has very similar principles to what I have, which is thinking about the long term, buying and holding, or sometimes when possible making a quick profit. And so I just thought it was a very unique opportunity, and I really couldn't get my mind off it. No matter how hard I tried or started looking for finance jobs at other companies and looking for everything that I could, I just was never able to get my mind off real estate. And after following Bigger Pockets, I eventually read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which just completely changed my mind about everything. It gave me this whole idea on working for yourself or having your money work for you rather than you working for your money. And I was like, all right, it's time to put a plan in motion. Let's start working on my way out the door. How am I going to be able to do this? And honestly, I sat on that idea for about 1.5 years at my job, hating it every single day. And after 1.5 years of just thinking of like, what do I do? How do I get out of this? I hate my job, but I've got student debt. I'm trying to get a new car. I want to buy a house. All of that. And it's like, but I just am not making enough money to support all of that. And then I heard a quote by Jim Rohn, and then it said, you shouldn't be paid for the time that you give. You should be paid off the value that you create. And I realized as somebody who became basically like the designated person for angry clients, helping them resolve situations, being the front man and front running any issues for things that were going south, bringing in the $500 million of new money to this company, I was creating so much value, but was not being paid any differently for the amount of value that I created. And so part of me wanted to just take a step back, go from working at 120% to going to working at 80% because it didn't make a difference. But my mind just doesn't work like that. Regardless how much I try to just take a step back and let things go, I couldn't do it. And so I decided to look up when is the first class for a real estate school for me to become a real estate agent. Tried looking in to see if I can do it online. Unfortunately, maybe at the time, North Carolina wasn't able to do it online. Things might have changed since then. And signed up for that class. So that was in September of 2019. That's when I put my 2 weeks in. That's when I started working or started going to real estate school, and was able to pass all of that and actually moved on or started working as an agent in February of this year, so February of 2020. Now, that's kind of why I started the YouTube channel. Admittedly, I had so many efforts at starting it in the past, but it was when I was working in finance, and I'll be honest, my videos were just very depressing because I was not happy. I hated where I was. I wanted to make a change, but I didn't know how. And maybe one day I'll release those. Maybe we'll make it like a goal. If this channel hits like 1,000 subscribers, then I'll release that video so you can kind of see the difference. I know I don't look like the most upbeat person in the world, but I can't even explain how much happier I am from when I made that video to now. And I actually think it was like a little over just a year ago. So it was a crazy difference, but making that change has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. Now, there's been other stressors along the way, given that I haven't had any income from that. There was a long time frame where I wasn't working. Now I'm starting working, and now everything's going on where we're all kind of locked up in our own houses. So it's been a difficult ride, but ultimately it's been just so worth it. And then for this channel, what I want to do is just document that progress that I've made. So starting from the time that I left my job up until, I said in the video, like hopefully up until I'm a millionaire. And that was my initial process, was just, week 1, week 2, week 3. Got kind of hard to do it, and honestly it gets kind of boring at certain times. So that's where I decided to talk about finances, because I do miss talking to people about finances, and honestly I just miss helping people with finance. I have a theory, belief, whatever you want to call it, that finance is intentionally complicated and full of these big words so people can make money off other people's ignorance. Not everybody does that, but many people out there do. And honestly, finance isn't that hard. As long as you can just take the time to learn it, and that's what I want to do, is just give it to you as easy as I can. We don't need to use big words. The big buzzword right now is quantitative easing. You don't need to know that as long as you know what it is. You don't need to know the word, but you just need to kind of know what's behind it. And that's the stuff that I want to be able to explain to you. So, throughout these videos, what I really want to document is my journey from leaving my job in finance to hopefully becoming a successful real estate agent, as well as giving you just some basic investment tips. So what kind of accounts to get, different investment types, products, companies you can invest with, money saving whatevers, or things you can do to even be less wasteful at home. If you buy like produce and you need to figure out how to make it less wasteful because you find yourself throwing it out. Just little tips like that as we go along this to keep it entertaining and keep it engaging. But I'm open to your opinions as well. I'd love to hear what everyone out there wants me to learn about, what I can do to make these videos more entertaining for you, how I can help. Because again, that's all I really want to do at the end of the day with this channel, is just help you out there that has so many questions about finance, you don't know where to start, and you just think that it's this thing that you need a PhD and whatever, and you don't for starting off. And I mean starting off is, there's a reason why people spend so much time in school and getting all these licenses, becoming like advisors or a CFA or anything like that. But for getting started, you don't need that information. You just need the basics, and that's what I want to give to you. So thanks so much for the time. Thank you again, Graham, for giving me this opportunity and for literally like tripling the amount of subscribers I have overnight. Granted, I started with 8, and I think I'm at like 30 something, but to me, 30 or 40 million, it doesn't matter. It's just awesome to see people engaging. So I guess I'll try this in Graham style. You know, I don't know if I get any bonus points for if you smash the like button versus just clicking it. So, you know, do whatever is easiest on your computer. But any support, feedback, or anything that I can do to help out, please let me know. Leave a comment if you have any questions for me. I'll leave my Instagram link down below, so if you want to message me there, you can as well. But again, thank you all for your time, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.